All right, now that I have my pants on, we can start. And everyone's after Tesla this week. CNBC is after Tesla. Audi with their new Model S competitor is after Tesla. Trucker Twitter feeds are after Tesla. And GM commercial today and yesterday actually put up an ad that's also going after Tesla. I'm wondering if Elon Musk is feeling a little, maybe he's crawled out, under his bed and crying, or maybe he's actually enjoying this. If you ask me, he's probably loving this because this is what he wanted, right? Recognition that Tesla is the best company and everybody coming in and joining the entire movement. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about everything else that happened in the world of electric cars, and we're going to get to it all right now. All right, well, how are you guys doing? I see a lot of regulars already in the chat room. Jan, Physics, Nigel, Coral, Ben, welcome guys. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. I definitely am after watching this commercial. It's funny. You guys know that I haven't really been a big supporter of companies coming up with electric cars and then trying to go after Tesla. We've discussed it many times. Yesterday with Eli, my guest, I think we've established that I'm not the only one who thinks that. Bottom line, if you haven't heard me 1,000 times say this, that one is, unless your car is absolutely 3 times better than best Tesla, you probably shouldn't be going after them. And secondly, the electric car market is only 1% of electric car sales in the world, and so you probably should be going for the rest 99%. My math is not perfect, but I think it's 99% of the entire market you should be going after, especially because these electric cars that are coming out, they're pretty good. I-Pace, great car. Miscellaneous, great car. Not as good as Tesla, but a really good car, much better than a lot of gas cars. I realize that they also make gas cars, but there's nothing wrong with stealing your own clients to keep them excited about your brand instead of coming up with another boring gas car that has maybe a little bit better technology, a little bit better, something that's just mind-blowing. I think it's pretty cool. So now GM came out with a 15-second commercial. Actually, if I didn't read the headlines that I've seen coming out today saying, GM takes a real big swipe at Tesla, I might have not even noticed the little kind of a thing there. So let me show you the video and you be the judge, right? It's only 15 seconds. So this is a Cadillac driving, and this is obviously their electric car. Well, actually, I'm not even sure if it's an electric car. See, right there. First true hands. Right? You want to see it again? We can see it again. So basically, actually, now I'm wondering, anybody can tell me if this is their electric? I don't think it's their electric car anyway. They're just advertising self-driving technology, and they're basically saying, what is it? First true hands-free freeway driving technology. All right, so they're obviously taking a swipe at Tesla. I didn't really realize it at first, but I've been the biggest criticism that I have, as you guys know, for Tesla is that they sold me 2 cars back in 2015 when I was a little boy. Back to 2015, I loved what Tesla Autopilot had to offer, and because I could, drive on the freeway and hands-free, right? Autopilot. And then they took that away. Basically, now you kind of have to check in with your parole officer almost, right? Just every 1 minute. Actually, I think it's even more often than that. You have to keep your hands on the wheel, and to me, that takes away the entire concept of what I thought I was buying, right? So this is what I wanted to do, but unfortunately that's just kind of been stolen from me, what I think. Now again, I think GM should not be going after Tesla, even if this is not a electric car, if this is the technology that they are creating for their gas cars. But Cordell Jones says, Alex, sorry, I have been MIA. That's okay. New job. Congratulations on your new job. What do you do now? Let us know if it's not a secret. I hope you're not working for GM marketing department or Jaguar marketing department, because we got to talk at that point. But anyway, so let me catch up also with some comments. Ryan Stoll Cowboy says, hey, When you're basically number one, everyone's naturally after you. Go Tesla. Absolutely agree. I mean, just like I said, I think Elon's, I mean, yes, he is a CEO of a company, of a publicly traded company. He wants to do right by his investors. But at the same time, I think his bigger goals is to do exactly what's happening now. Everyone's getting off of their butts and actually making something exciting, creating a new technology. I wouldn't say it innovating, but definitely moving the world forward. Just a bit at a time. Vinu in the chat room says, when we can expect $20,000 Tesla car? I don't think you should expect it anytime soon, if at all, because, you know, Tesla will continue to be a luxury car maker. Yes, they're electric car maker, but I think they're also a luxury car maker. So I don't think you should expect a cheap car from a luxury car maker. I don't even think BMW or Mercedes have cars that are $20,000 cars. And Tesla has what? 3 more cars in the pipeline until they are even going to be thinking about, you know, making another car. So we got Model Y, must have, a pickup truck, must have, and they're still working on the second generation Roadster. If anything, the second generation Roadster is probably what's kind of should give you an impression that they really want to stay in a luxury car market. So now, I will still answer this question. When can we expect a 20,000 Tesla? I'm gonna tell you when. I think it's going to be, so let's say by the end of this year, they'll be selling $35,000 Model 3s, right? So, and then people will start buying them. And then by maybe another 2 more years after that, so we're talking about by 2021, you'll start seeing these cars used to the point where the value will drop to 20,000, and that's where you'll be able to afford a 20,000 or get a $20,000 Tesla. However, if 20,000 is your budget, I would simply recommend you going for just a different electric car. You know, as much as I hate the way Chevy Bolt looks, but you can buy used Chevy Bolts for sure for 20,000. You can get Nissan Leaf. Well, the new one just came out, right? So you're gonna have to wait a little bit for that one, and it is starting at 30. So maybe, you know, maybe a couple of years. Nevertheless. And well, you know, BMW i3, if you're here in California, a PG&E customer or Edison Energy customer, they're running a deal, I think, through the end of the month. You can get that car for $20,500. $20,500. I did a video about that, so check it out. It's lonely at the top, says Tony. Whenever there are others to try everything imaginable to knock you off, up to and including misleading quotes and advertising. Yeah, it is a bit lonely on the top, but I think, you know, I think they're enjoying it. And, you know, I think the gap is getting smaller and smaller with every day. You know, if we're talking about self-driving technology, I think Tesla is no longer on the top, and I don't think it's just me. I think there are others who believe that that's the case. Also, the supercharging network, I mean, it's definitely going to be the king for the next 2 years or so. But as you guys know, the Ionity network in Europe, that's kind of catching up as well. In about, you know, 2 years, that network and a couple of other networks are going to have pretty decent number of, I don't want to call them superchargers, fast charging networks. So that's happening. We'll see what happens with Porsche trying to get catch up here in the United States. But, you know, here in the United States and Canada and China, I think Tesla will stay for a while as a leader because of the supercharging network. Let's see. Going down a straight road is easy. Let's see it go around bends, says physics. Well, I'm going to assume they can do that because it does seem like this technology has been conquered by a lot of companies now. So I wouldn't doubt that on the freeway, right? I mean, they specifically advertising this on freeway. I think they should be okay. So there you go. See, less death 69. Nice handle. The GM, maybe it's Elon Musk, less death 69, right? The GM system is actually pretty good, he or she says. It looks at your face and can tell if you're paying attention. This is a plug-in CT6, I believe. All right, so it is an electrified car. Uh, Nigel says that the commercial is only 15 seconds because the next 15 seconds the car crashes into a wall. Guys, what's up with all the hate today? What's up with all the hate? We're doing what we're trying, you know, to encourage others not to do. There shouldn't be any hate here. I think we should encourage any technology that even better than Tesla. I think we should, you know, definitely encourage that. All we need is a martini in this video. Yeah, that will go over well with Highway Patrol. If this is Autopilot, I'm using it since the 80s. I guess so, right? I think we all drove with our leg up a little bit, right? Touching the wheel. You know what? That's what I do now to let the Autopilot know that I have my hands on it. Is just I lower the wheel a little bit to my knee, not to the point where I can like not move, but to the point where it like slightly touches. That way, it still is better than the orange. I think. I know that Eli, the guy who was a guest yesterday on the show. By the way, let me know if you liked the yesterday show. Sorry about the sound. Still working out the whole having a guest using random webcam with me live thing. But I thought we had a very interesting conversation. He actually came down here to the Bay Area yesterday, and we grabbed a drink. And one of the audience members was also there, so we had a drink with her. Chatted for a while. Really cool guy. So he's got My Tesla Adventure channel. You can see that in the description of this videos. I think I still kept it. So he's the guy who did this video. Remember this video last week that he captured the semi trucks at the supercharging station? So he's the guy who did video. He's got this awesome you know, YouTube channel, but really his whole thing is that he is trying to create adventures for Tesla owners. And we were supposed to be at one yesterday because we didn't know it was going to rain. And it rained. We were supposed to go to the, you know, racing Teslas and other cars in Sacramento. So, but instead we ended up just kind of chatting on here on our live interview show, and then just grabbing a drink. So that was pretty cool. I completely forgot where I'm going with this. Plus, I'm actually still mesmerized by this semi truck video. So no, but that was really cool to catch up with him, and we. You know, I really am enjoying the Saturday segments because I have guests to talk to. I love talking to you guys in the chat room, which is cool. But actually, hear another human voice, that's pretty cool. I also got a lot of interesting other guests scheduled for the next few weeks. I don't know how many of them are actually going to be showing up because, I mean, again, people cancel the time, so I'm a little afraid to say, well, these are the guests that are booked, and I'm working on a few others. So James Cook, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Met him in person here in California, really cool guy. If you haven't seen his channel, check it out. It's like a vlog style, kind of his family, but also kind of evolves around his car. So definitely would be cool to talk to him. And then Roger Atkins. I don't know how many of you guys know Roger, but he is really big on LinkedIn. He has a huge following there. So we're going to talk to him, also from Great Britain. And then Zach and Jesse are scheduled to come on in April. This would be our third thing with Zach and Jesse. So that I'm definitely looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. But yeah, next week, looking forward to talking to James. Tony says Eli has great skills as a stalker to catch that semi footage. LOL. Yeah, he did a really good job stalking the semis and just got it right there in the right moment. But he also took a lot of good videos, right? Good quality videos. He kept the camera in this format and not like this, right? That's already better than most semi-truck spy videos that we had. And, you know, he captured it from his dash cam, and he captured the acceleration and up close and from different sides on both of the trucks. So definitely really good footage. If you haven't, you know, seen it, check out the link in the description. You'll see all of these videos in there. Tony says, yesterday's show was awesome. I'm loving the Saturday format. Yeah, me too, guys. I really enjoy it. I wish I could do it every day. I wish I could have a guest every day, and maybe someday. But I have a day job, so I only have so much time to schedule, because, you know, scheduling anything takes a while. And that's why I really appreciate my Patreons. Just to I mention every show. If you're interested in supporting the show, check it out. Like, for example, a picture with me and Eli and one of the audience members yesterday is now posted for Patreon's eyes only. And I have a practice interview with my girlfriend that I did before I interviewed other people in the Supercharger network. At the Supercharger location, I practiced with her, so just got to get me going. But I thought this interview was kind of funny because we were just kind of, she forgot which Tesla she had and all that stuff. So again, this is the content that I provide for my Patreons, and thank you so much, guys, for supporting it. The link, of course, is in the description of this video. Let's see. Do voice commands really work in Model 3, says Vinu? Well, I mean, it's pretty much the same type of system for all Model S, Model X, and you guys, those of you who have a Model 3, feel free to chime in. I can only talk about the Model S and I guess Model X. They work to the point. I mean, there's a limited number of them. I use them only for a few things. Like, for example, if I want to play a certain song or call my mom, for example, right? So like stuff that I kind of know will recognize, but everything else see, the thing is, I love touchscreens. So I like interacting with my touchscreen. If you don't, then people use voice commands a little bit more. You know, earlier this year, Elon tweeted that they're going to try to basically have a set of voice commands that will be sort of that will have exactly same features as the UI, the user interface. So, and I love that, right? So that way we can have a choice between either, you know, pushing buttons, pushing the screens, or we can actually do everything with a voice command. So I'm looking forward to that. But I would say that whatever it does have, it works pretty well. Let's see. I really want the Tesla Model Y, but I can't wait until 2021. So the Audi and the Jaguar is looking really nice right now. So, yeah, so says Corder Jones. Absolutely. Again, I hate their marketing. Well, Jaguars in particular, but I really like the cars. The only thing is, you know, the Jaguar, I mean, the Audi e-tron, we don't know what the pricing is going to be just yet in the United States, but guessing by the pricing that they had in Europe, everyone's saying it's probably going to be around 80K. I still think, and you know, the Jaguars I believe is also about 70K here in the United States. I think it's still a little bit high. The only benefit, of course, is they're not going to run out of the tax credit anytime soon here in the United States. Though, you know, there's some lobbying going on, especially GM, and I'm assuming Tesla too, is to get our Congress to pass a sort of a little fix for this, where the $7,500 tax credit will be extended for all manufacturers and will be capped at the total number of cars or money, which I actually support. So I really like that. And but then let's go back to this news that we kind of broke in the beginning of the week. Unfortunately, in Ontario, this is a province in Canada, they just took off all Teslas from the list of cars that can get their incentives. I think they call them incentives is there. Not so much because of Tesla, it's because they've decided not to have them for cars over $75,000. You know, a lot of people like it, but I really think it's, even though I understand the meaning behind it, but I think still, you know, people who pay the most taxes probably should be the first in line to get some of it back if it's being offered. So I thought that's a little bit unfair overall, though I understand that they're trying to say, well, people who have cars that, you know, they spend over $75,000, they probably don't need any extra money, and it probably won't sway their decision one way or another, which is probably mainly true. Not all the way true, but mainly true. So unfortunately, that is going away. So that's wow. Sorry, I didn't see some of the messages that Aaron posted, but I see that Alex keeps axing him. So sorry about that, whatever was happening there. I appreciate it. Alex, thanks for being on top of things. Alex Z, please give him a hand. He is one of our moderators working hard. All right, so yeah, and of course Jaguar I-Pace I really like. We'll see what happens with their sales. Tony says that the interview with Lachelle, that's my girlfriend, was pretty funny. She's a good sport. She's a good sport, and especially because of letting me post that interview. Just because I had it didn't mean she was gonna let me post it. In my Supercharger, the Kettleman City Supercharger video that's on my channel, and the end of that video, she also did something funny. I don't know for those of you guys have seen it. It's also on my Instagram, also under E for Electric. She basically, while I wasn't looking, grabbed the mic, turned the camera on, and made fun of me, thinking she was gonna erase it a little bit later. But I found it, and I thought it was actually pretty funny, so I posted it. Yes, she's been on the channel a few times. Let's see. Chris B in the chat room says Tesla needs a challenge to keep them on their game. It gets hard to say your best when you're running alone. Actually, that's not a bad point either. I'm going to agree with that one. Great point. You know, I love some of these comments, guys, that you're making, and as you know, I do a comment of the day for my daily videos, Monday through Fridays, when we're just going through news. And you know, as more people are kind of becoming part of this community, I enjoy this more and more. The comments, you know, I think I have the smartest and most educated audience in the electric car YouTuber universe. I think you guys have been pretty smart, and the questions that I get in some of the comments, that I feel like some of you guys have a even better knowledge than me in some areas, and that's why I really appreciate it. And as you can see, the chat here is sort of my everyday guest, because I really want to make sure when someone's watching these videos, they can see the rest of the contribution to the show. I know now in YouTube, when you watch it, you can actually have a replay where you can see the chat. So it's kind of a double thing, but some people watch it on TV, I know, and some people watch it embedded, like on LinkedIn or Facebook. And I want to make sure that those people still see the chat. So I always keep it here. And by the way, yes, this is a pink watch I'm wearing. I've decided I'm going to change it around. I mean, I have a pretty decent watch collection, and I always wear like the same watch for you guys. And a lot of times it's a Fitbit. So I'm going to try to step it up a little bit. I'm afraid to take a sip of it. I made myself hot tea so I don't lose my voice as fast. But now it feels like it's really hot. So I'm gonna let it. I'm just gonna. I don't want to burn my mouth. It's, you know, trying to protect my throat. I want to put a kayak on my Model 3, says Mike 20SM. I mean, it depends on the size of your kayak, but yeah, I think you should be able to. It's not the longest car in the world, but it's not the shortest either. Tom says I had my Model S for 2 weeks. Congratulations, first of all. And now my Model 3 is ready to configure. I guess I will wait for all-wheel drive. I think a lot of people do. Depends on where you live, Tom. Let us know. A lot of people, when there is colder weather, opt out to wait for that. Tons of Teslas and other electric cars, says Bennett, in Victoria. Home to start environmentally oriented people. That's awesome. Semi-truck makes good camper van, says Nigel. Roadster inside for less than 2 eyes supercars. Actually, yeah, it's a good deal, right? Nigel says, marry the lady or I'll divorce my wife, and the rest is history. All right, guys, we already talked about it. You know, I'm very alternative as far as like traditional stuff is concerned. Neither one of us wants to get married, and just that's, especially here in California, guys, marriage. When you see Kardashians down the street, well, they're not down the street, they're but in California, get married, get divorced, get married. It's kind of almost like a joke around here. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody who's married, but I'm just saying I get a sense of that. I see so many people getting divorced. So again, I don't want to get this. I don't want to get this electric car news show off the rails, but this is just a personal choice. We've been together for 7 years. It's been working for us. So why ruin a good thing? Let's see. Fabian says would be great to have Google Assistant in Tesla. Yeah, or Alexa, the Amazon. lady, which I have at home, but I don't really use her as much as I thought I would. E-tron pricing is crazy money. Yeah, Nigel, I kind of agree. I really think that's $20,000 overpriced. I mean, it's definitely pricier than their own cars, kind of in the same market. I mean, it's kind of within Model X, but it's not Model X, right? So if people have choices, then they're gonna go with that. Chris B says, I'm excited to see the Hyundai Kona. It will be interesting. I'm more excited to see Kia Niro EV, which I personally am considering along with the Jaguar I-Pace. But I really looking forward to Kona. Let me see if I still have the, oh yeah, so I do have the video of a Hyundai Kona. It's I mean, the range is better than Kia Niro by a little bit, but I definitely am excited because both of them should be priced under $40,000. Both of them should be qualified for the $7,500 credit, so you can get them probably in the 30s, and I really like the way the Niro EV looks inside, kind of futuristic. I really hope they keep that new cool look inside. I really enjoyed it. Let's see. By the way, let me remind you guys that this show and this channel is sponsored by Evanex. They've also provided the discount code just in case if you guys want to shop for your aftermarket accessories for Tesla. I have a few things on my Tesla. Eli yesterday said that he has, I guess, a keychain. I mean, they sell anything for like, can cost you a few bucks all the way to like thousands of dollars when you really want to like retrofit your Tesla and stuff like that. So really cool. Really appreciate them being a sponsor. And let's move on to a couple of other things. Now the semi, as you know, appear. I mean, that's kind of been an ongoing story because they've kind of unleashed the semi truck, right? It's been driving around. This one is where they're carrying a load of Model 3 batteries from the Gigafactory to back here to the Fremont factory. So they're definitely, and this is actually was a good promotional sort of video for them, right? Not that they made it, but later in the week, as they made their way to the Anheuser-Busch facility in St. Louis, Missouri, I guess on the way back, or maybe it was over there on the way there, this picture came up. There were a few others, and it looked like they pulled over on the side of the road. People were basically making fun of them, saying, "Oh, look at that! It broke down." First of all, no big deal for a prototype to break down, but of course, and semi trucks break down all the time, or sometimes they have to stop because their brakes are overheating. But okay, sorry, they're going again with my facts and logic. All right, so but nevertheless, I thought Tesla could have handled it better. They actually said afterwards that they were conducting some testing on the side of the road between the destinations. Am I buying it? Whatever. I mean, maybe, but at the same time, I've been pretty harsh on their PR department. I think they continue to chase stories that they could have been ahead of, right? Like, for example, and we'll get to the whole electricity hike rate at Superchargers. This one, again, all they had to do, this would have been my recommendation, and I'm by no means a PR guru. Otherwise, my channel would have had 1 million subscribers by now, right? But even I could come up with something that could have been maybe, help them to not have to chase these negative stories, because like this is actually not even that of a bad posting. There are some much more rude comments. Ruder, is that a word? Anyway, but much more rude comments out there on Twitter. Of course, all the trucker community, or the gas lover, diesel lover community definitely took their chance. So instead of chasing the stories and having to react to it, all they could have done is put like their own little road sign that, how like when trucks break down or whatever, they pull over, they put like cones on the road, and then they would put like a hazard sign or whatever, just to make sure that, other cars see them, and then it's like when cops drive by, they know that this is they took all the precautions. Well, they could have put another sign up saying, hey, testing. You know what I mean? A roadside testing or something like that. So when people pass by, at least they can see, oh, they're testing, and there would be at least no question about why the truck is pulled over on the side of the road. And if this really was testing, I would have pulled over to like any parking lot or any truck stop, by the way. Let the semi, hang out with other kids. And, that problem solved. So I'm not really sure why they didn't. But anyway, so that's what we saw this week. Where do you get your watches? Asks Ben. A few of my watches are by this company called Movement, MVMT, and they have a website. Another one's by CEO Watches. My rule is this: all watches have to be under $100. They have to look good and fashionable, but under $100. But then I also get them at like online stores, or like one of them I got an outlet store. I think my diesel watch, because I wanted them under $100, right? I bought it at the outlet store. So yeah, different places. Sometimes online, if you follow some of the up and coming watch brands on Instagram, that's where I usually kind of find them. And follow them and then buy them. A lot of times they'll tell you they're having a sale on Instagram, and that's the best time to buy. Tony says, part of the real men wear pink movement, Alex. He asks, absolutely every day. Pink is my favorite color. I have no problems admitting it. I think it looks awesome on the men. I think you need to know how to wear pink, but it goes great with black, and I absolutely love it. No problem. I've got pink socks. I got pink ties, pink shirts. So absolutely, I think it's also makes you yeah. Only real men can wear pink, I guess they say. Am I vegan? Asks Guess Dorfic, a muncher. Great username. No, I'm not a vegan. I am gluten-free, but that's not by choice. I don't think that many people would be gluten-free by choice, because like everything that's delicious has gluten in it. But yeah, I'm not by choice. Not celiac either, just intolerant. So that creates a bit of a challenge. Let's see. Tony says, dude, I'm in the same situation. I'd love the conversation, though. My 2 cents. Which situation? Let me know. I think I've talked about a few situations. Arab love for Kim Kardashian, says someone who I can't read the username because I'm assuming it's in Arabic. I'm assuming. So that comment is there. Let's see. I'd love the conversation on. Oh, I see what you mean. You like the comments to stay on. Okay, yeah, me too. I really want to make sure that everyone who's watching actually can see the conversation. EV manufacturers need to entice people to try electric cars, says Bennett in the chat room, by offering no obligation trials that sell way more this way. I believe they have 1 or 2 day kind of a test drives thingy, but every time somebody drives a brand new car and returns it, I think they have to sell it as a demo car, right? Or they call it inventory car. So, and with a discount. So I'm not really sure if you can just like, and imagine how many people who just can't afford a Tesla or don't really want it, but just wanted to try it out and see, would just do it. And that way they'll have a lot of used cars for no reason. So I don't really, they do test drives, right? The test drive is when you come to the dealership, to the showroom, and let you test drive the car. And I think this is more that you need, because in 20 minutes you can pretty much try everything that you want. Freeway, streets, turning, acceleration, braking, all that stuff. You can check out the tech anytime without, test drive. You can just basically look at the car in the showrooms. A lot of showrooms now have Model 3. So not really sure if they can do that just business-wise. Like, I don't think it might make sense for them as far as business is concerned. I see a question about MNX by Nigel. Says, does MNX only do Tesla? Zoe would be nice to have additions. I believe they only do Tesla. That's just kind of what they specialize in. I'll ask them that I will ask them if they are thinking about expanding. With Zoe, I'm not sure, because there's we don't have Zoe sold here. As a matter of fact, we don't really have Renaults here in general. But so they would need to have a car or 2 or 3 to be able to create the aftermarket accessories. They're here in California, by the way, as well. So they would need those cars, to at least a few of them to be able to do testing. And they're hard to get. The only time I've seen Zoe is because we have this Nissan research center nearby, and they have a couple of them that look like they're taken apart inside, but outside you can clearly see them. So that's the only how I saw Zoe. Let's see if this tea will not burn my tongue this time. Barely made it, but yeah. Caesar says testing in progress would be smart. I agree. But then Alex Z says, not sure if testing sign would be legal. There are reasons why we allowed to stop on the side of the highway only in case of emergency. Well, I think you can post really anything, you know. I don't want to I don't want to speak too soon, but I think you can put any sign you want because you can put it on your truck. So I don't know. I don't want to speak too soon about it, but I don't see a problem with it. And yeah, well, okay. So yeah, there are reasons why you can't pull over, and usually it should be for emergency purposes. But I think there might be exception made for prototypes because, how would the cars be able to be tested out there and new cars be created if prototypes wouldn't have some leeway of as far as, like, for example, doing testing, right? So Dudley says there are Tesla watches on eBay. I don't think those are Tesla authorized watches. I think those are just watches with somebody putting a logo on it, probably not authorized, but yes, they have tons of them and also t-shirts. Pink pants, suggests Nigel. That's where I draw the line. No pink pants. I love white pants. So white pants with a pink shirt, then you got something, my friend. I do have that outfit. Matthias says, that's not how Tesla works. Maybe they just sit in their office and laugh about people speculating. It's only going to be funny until other companies are going to catch up to them, and companies are catching up to them. So I wouldn't be laughing if I was them. I always give an example of an iPhone. When an iPhone came out, it was basically by far number one. Absolutely no competition, if you will. And then Android came out, remember, and at first it was all right, but within a year, it kind of started to conquer the people like me who weren't that happy with some of the things that iPhone had to offer. Others decided that they want mainly the same type of phone, but for cheaper. And as we can see, a lot of people are begging for a cheap electric car because, even $35,000 Model 3, as me and Elon discussed yesterday, and somebody pointed out in the chat room, that's still very expensive for a lot of people in the world. So yeah, I wouldn't be sitting on their butts if I was Tesla, and I don't think they are. Nigel suggests good fake Rolex. You know what? Actually, I don't really like Rolexes, to be honest with you, and I really definitely don't like wearing anything that's fake because why? Again, I think there are plenty of watches that are under $100 that are hip and nice, and I love them. And I don't know. I think if you're gonna spend money on a Rolex, you should really have so much money that you really can't even think of new ways to spend it than you spend on a Rolex. But people like me, I would rather invest it into something that can help me in the future, like maybe quitting my day job and doing the show full time, right? This is going to be the most maintenance-free semi-truck ever, says Gesdorfik Muncher. Yeah, I mean, any electric car would be the most maintenance-free electric car ever, because and this is what's this is where the conflict is kind of growing between manufacturers. It's internal struggle, if you will, because the manufacturers are thinking, well, holy crap, all of our dealerships that we sell our cars through, they make most of their money on maintenance, right, and service. Now we're going to be asking them to sell a car that will automatically put an end to it. So what do we do, right? I don't know if I told you guys, one of my coworkers was looking into getting a Nissan Leaf, the new one, and she told me she came to the dealership and they were almost trying to talk her out of getting the Nissan Leaf. And I was like, well, that's not right. Let me go. And I put a hidden camera on me and I went to the Nissan dealership. But the one that I went to here in Sunnyvale, they were actually very helpful. And they even told me that there are a few few Leafs that they have that are available to be sold to me right now. And they were more than happy to explain about the car. They had 2 cars in there. As a matter of fact, the center, they had a small showroom, but then right in the center, they had a Nissan Leaf as like kind of main feature. So I thought it was pretty encouraging. So I mean, but still, I think there's going to be a major maybe shake up in a way that manufacturers do businesses. Maybe they will also, and this is actually, guys, I'm surprised that hasn't happened. I can see manufacturers following Tesla's lead and starting to sell their cars direct. Instead of using dealerships, because you know they can make much more money and be more in control of what they're selling and how they're selling it and so forth. But you know they can also create service centers where they can make that extra money while they're still selling gas cars. So I'm assuming something's going to give in that territory. Bennett says 1 car per dealership for test drives, 2 hours per trial. It can work. The tester car could be a business expense advertising. Well, okay, if we're talking about a couple of hours, I can see that. You would still get so that wouldn't be a test trial. So the test trial is when you kind of buy something and then you can return it if you're not satisfied, right? But in this case, it would be more like an extended test drive. And I agree with you. I think that would be a great idea. And I think they do that with customers if they feel that they're pretty serious and all is standing on their way is their extended test drive, then they'll let you do that. Coral says, Alex, get off the water bottles. You're ingesting plastic pieces. The stainless steel is your best bottles to use. Well, I don't know. Is this stainless steel? This is what I got. This is something I got from my company as a gift the other day, so I thought I'll try it because I have no other ones. It does look like stainless steel. No? All right. Well, let me know. For now, I got to be poisoning myself because I want to keep my voice going, and I'm already feeling it. And this is the only one that I have. If you want to drop a link to Amazon where I can buy it, let me know. Probably not in the chat. Yeah, you can do it in the chat room because it now gets saved. Why is there no Tesla t-shirts in Amazon, says Gestorfik Munch. I can't even pronounce your name. But there are some, but they're not authorized by Tesla. And I'm assuming if somebody puts it up there, they're probably cutting, trying to cut it out and close down those. But you can get them out there in their own store, obviously at Tesla.com. Ben says, I don't think the big automakers are trying to move electric cars. They don't have high margins. I don't know. So they don't have high margins for the manufacturers, but for dealers, they might, right? Because it's all about the markup that you make. As a matter of fact, these cars have the incentives. So I think it's easier for the car maker, for the dealerships to actually mark it up a little bit even higher, or at least the same, because there's some help from the government, from the tax relief. They will have a big margin if they produce the batteries as cheap as Tesla, says Saga Photo DE. I think batteries will get even cheaper for Tesla. I mean, that's a very fast moving technology. Hyundai selling direct in UK as well as dealers, says Nigel. Wow, really? I didn't know that. Anybody else is experiencing that in their country? Let me know if there are any manufacturers selling direct. So Nigel, maybe you can enlighten me here. Enlighten me. Tell me if they are selling them online or they have like their own showrooms like Tesla does. I'd love to look into that. Renee Z says, the Supercharger network is owned by Tesla. If in the future is powered by solar, also owned by Tesla, they can make it the lowest price recharge on the market, maybe. Okay, first of all, let's remember that even at the Superchargers that have a relatively big sized lot, even if you cover the whole thing in in solar panels twice over, that's still not enough. That energy has to come from a much bigger farm, solar battery farm somewhere like nearby, right? So Tesla might actually end up doing that, where they sort of harvest the the sun somewhere nearby and then get that energy into their superchargers, because superchargers, that's a lot of energy, and solar technology is not there where they can actually get that. And maybe I should change the picture and get that much power out of them just yet. And so, which kind of makes me want to move to the, you know, not such a pleasant story of the week. Let me see if I can find it now. But basically, Tesla has increased the prices kind of overnight and kind of hush-hush. And I already kind of told you guys I really did not like that at all, because let's see. Oh yeah, there you go. Here it is. Because again, this goes all the way to PR, right? So let me just rewind. So So Tesla increased the supercharger rates. So, you know, those who drive Model 3s and those who either bought a Model S or Model X that was, I think, sold after January 15th of 2017, where that does no longer transfer with the car, those people have to pay for supercharger rates, right? And they were, you know, relatively low, but overnight, without warning, Tesla increased it, and in some cases by more than double. I think Washington State went from like 11 cents to 25 cents. But a lot, I mean, it was significant for most states. And I think here in California, we also went from like 10 to 20, dare I say? I forget what it was. But that, again, bad PR. Listen, if you need to increase rates and they're still much cheaper than gas, explain that to us. Explain that you need to invest into more superchargers, and that, hey, that was a good run that we had where it was really cheap rates, and then move forward with it. But once again, they kind of snuck it up. People found out, of course, and then there were a lot of negative articles, and then Tesla had to kind of, I don't even know if they had a response, to be honest with you. They were like, they're quiet on that front. Don't like that, again. But the rates have been increased for the supercharging network all across the United States, and I think Canada. Let me know if you guys can confirm. But so yeah, Renee Z, just to address what you were suggesting, is that yeah, it's not that easy. It's not that easy to gather the solar panel electricity and have them for these superchargers that are very, very powerful. Try a magnet, says Matthias. If it sticks, steel confirmed. Oh, I don't have a magnet. Do I have a magnet? Let me see. Yeah, guys, I don't have a magnet anywhere here, but okay, I will do it later. But yeah, if anybody can recommend, please let me know what you recommend, so I don't poison myself, as I'm just about to do right now. Bennett says no obligation test drives will reduce the fear of being pounced on at the end of the trial. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm just, as long as it makes sense for Tesla to do it or any other manufacturers, I think it's a good idea. I'm just saying it's got to make sense. Adam in the chat room says, after all the tug of war videos between Model X and other ICE four-wheel drives, just wait for the tug of war video between the Tesla Semi and ICE semis. Talk about torque. Yeah, I think somebody already obviously suggested that. I don't think Tesla's going to do it. I don't think that's how they. I don't think that's how they roll. Let's see. Supersized. None of the Tesla YouTubers are talking about the suspended deliveries on all the Model S and Model X cars due to the IC going blank on all the new MCU2 cars. Have you heard of this? I have not heard of this, says High Tech Auto. So if you can drop me a link to my email address, that would be appreciated, or Twitter or whatever. Every social media account I have is basically E4 Electric, so feel free to reach out for me anywhere. Or you can just send me an article, right? Like, I don't want hearsay. Don't be like CNBC. Don't give me hearsay. Give me some solid evidence that that's really happening. Which, why not talk about the crappy CNBC reporting? And we had plenty of it this week. I'm just trying to look for the graphics that I had. Now it's making my nose run all the hot tea. Actually, before I do that, I saw somebody was saying that they're disagreeing with me. That piqued my interest. Smooth operator, I think it was. Smooth operator. Okay, Alex and I may disagree on certain stuff, but here's one of my top 3 YouTubers. Facts. Appreciate that. I get a lot of sort of hate for not being a Tesla fanboy, but I hope that you guys know that this channel is not about how awesome Tesla is at all times, no matter what. It's about how awesome electric car movement is overall. However, we have our own problems, including Tesla, and when criticism is due, and I think those of you who watched me for a while know that I'm not shying away from criticizing Tesla when they don't do something right, and lately it's been their PR. You know, I'm more than happy to point that out. Clinton Cloyd says, do you think Tesla will get at least 300,000 cars out this year, or is that too optimistic? So they've been getting out, what, about 100,000? And I really, with a, oh man, I think they're going to miss their Model 3 2,500 units per week estimate or promise or whatever the goal. Again, that's what it looks like right now. 300,000 cars this year. They're pretty much guaranteed to make 100,000 of Model S and Model X. So that we know. But how many Model 3s are going to make? You know, I would say definitely not 300,000 together. I think if they get somewhere between 200,000 and 250,000, that would still be a relative success. So that would be my estimation based on just so many broken promises from Elon, right? Atik and 1985 says, in 10 years time, will Tesla be the new Ferrari? Niche, low volume, or Benz, high volume, high end, and who will go bust? Oh, wow. Wow. Listen, I have to say this is a pure speculation. I'm in no way qualified. I don't think anybody is really qualified to answer the question. From what I see from their strategy, from Elon's vision, and from their financial goals as a publicly traded company, I don't think they will go Ferrari's route. I think the Roadster is just kind of like, hey, if you want to spend a lot of money, we have an awesome product for you. But I think they will go with high volume, like Mercedes-Benz and any other company. And who will go bust? Now, that is an extremely complicated question, because right now, I feel like Toyota and Ford are tanking, right? They're not coming up with any innovation, whether it's electric cars or not. But at the same time, those companies are so big, they can afford standing on the sidelines, figuring out what's happening, and then jumping in last second and putting a lot of money into just going with whatever technology they believe has conquered the industry, and let all the little guys like Tesla, whatever, figure that out for them. Or they can go the Silicon Valley route, where, you know, a giant company watches the little startups, you know, battle it out and see who's got the best technology, and then buy the winner, right? So we're talking about, you know, Faraday Future or Lucid Air or some of the other startups, and there are plenty of them, you know, developing a technology, and then Ford or Toyota just simply buying it. I can see that happening. I was kind of hoping Ford was going to buy Lucid Air, right? And that's been my sort of a wish that hasn't really ever come true. So I'm definitely going to keep my eye on it. But let us talk about the CNBC article. So this is my criticism towards criticism of Model 3. Listen, I'm not happy about all this Model 3 production BS, and I say BS because it's different from the actual delays. I understand why there are delays, and I think they're still doing an amazing job. Even the fact that they're making, you know, 2,000 cars a month right now, that's still amazing, because, you know, they've done it. This is a breakthrough car. This is a breakthrough technology as far as how you're making those cars. They're still a relatively small company to just ramp up this humongous production rate. It's already the best-selling electric car in the world. So there's a lot of amazing things going on. I just don't like how aggressively Elon has promised, and then when that didn't work out, he promised something else that once again was over-promising. And now this is what, third time around. I have a feeling they're not going to be able to meet even the 2,500 units per week, but they will be able to meet maybe 1,000 units per week, which is still very impressive. It's just not, again, it's a little disappointing. So I don't like that. But So I rarely defend the Model 3 production from that side, but CNBC had an article that got picked up, and I think even in fact it's the stock negatively. I think it fell a few points because of that, percentage points. Is because CNBC basically got a hold of either current or former or both types of employees. They're all stayed anonymous, and basically those employees said that I'm allergic to this story, as you can see. My throat just tightened up as I was just about to tell you that. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, this plastic tastes amazing, guys. Anyway, so they basically suggested that up to 40. My throat is still tightened up. 40 up to 40% of their parts have to be remanufactured and retooled that come back or get delivered to the Tesla factory. First of all, I think that's kind of an unbelievably high number that just cannot be ever realistic. Secondly, that article doesn't cite what is the percentage and what is the rate of other companies, other manufacturers, because this is perfectly normal. Now, Tesla had to put out a statement calling BS on that, but they are right. What are the other companies doing? If you want to do some investigative journalism, CNBC, you got to do better than the high school, weekly newspaper. And that's probably insulting to high school weekly newspapers. Okay, you just have to do a better job than back in Russia, when I would come out of my apartment complex, there will always be like a bunch of old ladies who were just kind of sitting around. They had nothing better to do. And they would like gossip, right? They would just gossip. They would make things up. For as long as the conversation's going, they're there on those benches for hours every day. They got to talk about something. So you guys got to do a better job than those grandmas that I've seen at my apartment complex's front yard. Okay, so for that you gotta Google stuff around. You can use Google and you can find out. Because, like, for example, I think Elon was pointing out that their retooling department has only 40 people. Okay, well, but that's something that CNBC should have pointed out, but then compared it to how many retooling department, what's the head count in other car manufacturers. So that wasn't included. So the whole thing was kind of a hearsay. I thought the numbers weren't realistic, and really, it wasn't really conclusive about like how is this holding up the production, right? I mean, because if you have a separate department that's doing retooling, how is that affecting production, right? And again, I'm already being sucked into this whole imaginary world of CNBC, but nevertheless, I really hated the article. I'm glad Tesla put out a statement to kind of counter that, but no, definitely did not like it because this one wasn't really fair. And again, nobody knows if it's true when we don't have any facts. Let's see. Rhinestone Cowboy says, going back to the electric rates, putting up electric rates that much maybe for reducing the wait lines at superchargers in California and other Tesla dense locations. So 2 things for that. And let me go back and change the graphics back to that. Man, there's so many stories that I like really getting lost in some of this. Oh, it's right here. Yeah, so 2 things. First of all, most cars are still supercharging for free because the Model S, Model X cars are still the majority, obviously, and that's 1. 2, I don't mind the rate increase. Hey, they got to do business. It's just there's a right way of doing it and the wrong way of doing it. Sneaking the such a major price increase, more than double in some cases, is the wrong way of doing it. 1, increase them over the year. Tell them, hey guys, we now are trying to ramp up our supercharger production or location expansion, and we're going to be charging for for the rates that are a little bit more fair, right? Because Tesla always claimed that this was market prices. Well, now we know it's BS because there are no markets where prices just went up by double overnight, unless I don't know something. So correct me if I'm wrong. But even if that's true, then that's what you should have said. Hey, the prices skyrocketed. We need to catch up. But they could have said, listen, we need to gently increase the prices. We're going to do a few increases over the next year to be able to fund more superchargers, and these rates are still going to be much less for gas. We just want to make sure to take care of our customers, including you, and I think a lot of people will at least understand that approach. So my problem was that they didn't do that. Again, people woke up and saw the different rate, and then they wrote articles about it, and then Tesla is kind of quiet about it. And this just, again, this is simple communication. There are different, like, obviously nobody wants to pay more, but, you know, people would understand if they have to, if there is a good reason, especially if that money is going kind of right back to them when they're going to enjoy more supercharger locations, right? So I just didn't like the way it was done. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. I hope my point is coming across. All right. All right, I think you guys are talking between yourselves. The bottle is magnetic. I have the same one, probably stainless steel. Stan, I don't think you have the same one, because this is actually was given to our department and my day job. Just like 100 of them were made, and this is actually pretty cool design that they hired a graphics designer for, which was funny because we are a graphics department too. But so I'm not sure if you have the same one. I mean, they obviously used you know, a company that just put the graphics on it, but stainless steel. Yeah, I mean, it does look like stainless steel. I mean, now you guys are scaring me, but I gotta keep drinking. This is hot tea. I don't drink, by the way. Oh, it should say in the bottom of the container. Why didn't think of that? Well, I probably shouldn't turn it around so it spills on my keyboard, but let me see if I can do it this way. Okay. Let's see what it says. Well, made in China. That's not a good start. You know, it's really hard to read. I still have a box from it, so I'll try to figure out. I can't figure out by just looking at this thing. So sorry about that. And again, I don't have another one right now, and I need to keep drinking hot tea. Oh yeah, so new software for AP2 is awesome, says Basic Flash Cube. So let's I'm gonna have to skip a few comments, guys. Sorry, but gotta get to more news. So let's see. We talked about these. I'm just gonna go through a few of them that we already covered. Well, actually, we haven't covered that many, huh, guys? I better catch up. I better catch up. I did this. I did this. I did this. I did this. Oh. No, sorry, that's not what I meant to do. But meanwhile, while I'm doing this, let me remind you guys and thank my Patreons for contributing to the show. If you guys want to be one of the contributors, who also gets exclusive content, some bloopers, some behind the scenes stuff, pictures and all of that stuff, the description of this video down there has that, so I really appreciate that. Let's see, let me get to, oh yeah, so we talked about Audi pricing, right, which is kind of 100,000 in Europe, but it's going to be less because there's some fees already included with that. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that, but I still want to remind you guys, if you're enjoying this video, I'm assuming you are. If you're stuck around with me all this time, we're at about past the first hour, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the video to do well after I repost it. We talked about Tesla being broken down. All right, so somebody reminded me about something. Oh yeah, so Tesla has come up with 2 updates, and one of them was to the hardware of the screen, hardware and software for the screen, so it responds faster. Let me find that slide, and I'll just put it right in. But it's something that is only going to be available on the newer cars, though people are saying that the software part of it may still make it better and more responsive in the existing cars. And I think Eli, my guess from yesterday, might be already testing that out. So we'll see what happens with that. But what basically it's just a faster processing power, and you know, I have to admit that a lot of times when I scroll through my songs or go through my previous destinations, it's kind of slow. Sometimes it reacts to my finger when it's scrolling, but it reacts like it's a touch. And it's because it's kind of trying to catch up to itself. So I like that. Unfortunately, I mean, it would be cool if the software makes it better even for people like me, but definitely the new hardware will help when people are buying it, you know, starting, I think, last week or so. But the biggest splash was made by their software update. And this one was nothing new, but it really caught up to what the Autopilot 1 had. It basically kept the way the car is kind of being kept in the lane. From what I understand, it is huge improvement. It is much smoother. People were reporting like a ping pong effect where cars going like, you know, between the lines and everything. Actually, that reminded me of the joke. Now I have to remember the joke. It was something like my Tesla is a Coke addict. It's always looking for lines. Something like that. I'll redo it once I remember it. I'll read it. It was somewhere in my Facebook post. By the way, any Tesla jokes are always welcome here, or electric car jokes. Where was I? Oh yeah, the update. So and you can see the video on Eli's channel. The description of this video still has his link. My guess from yesterday that the changing of the lanes is a much smoother experience. I've never had a problem with it, but I have the good Autopilot, you know, the first one from Mobileye. But I guess it's actually a lot of people saying that maybe the Autopilot 2 is now caught up and even maybe surpassing the Autopilot 1 in some ways. Not sure how it's surpassing, but it's definitely a lot of people reporting that it's definitely catching up or already caught up. So that's good news. I have to say, I mean, my Tesla Model S and Model 3 Owners Club Facebook groups definitely has a lot of people posting videos and being really, really happy. As a matter of fact, I don't remember having this much response to a software update in a while. And I'm excluding actually the Easter egg updates. Cinema Writer says, why people are still clinging to Toyota delusions, I don't know. Well, my 89-year-old dad loves Toyota, and it's something hard to change his mind, though I have to say their latest car is a hybrid Toyota. So, but, you know, Toyota made its name for itself a while back for being a very reliable car, at the same time being more affordable, and having a pretty good tech. So, you know, once people are brand loyal, right? And they also had good service. Once people are brand loyal, it's really hard to steal them, right? And that's what brand loyalty is. And they've done a really good job. And there's still people who believe in them. Not me. I used to love Lexus, but not anymore. Getting drunk on your hot tea, says Cook Arpo. Well, not so much drunk on the tea, but I think more drunk on the whatever horrible chemicals like apparently everyone's saying this one has. And still, you guys haven't told me if this looks like a stainless steel or not. Look at Volkswagen, says Ben, replying to Cinema Writer. They poised people, lied to everyone, and they're still around. Now, that is a mystery. But I don't think that that story, the Dieselgate and everything, has really struck too many hearts outside of our community, outside of electric car community. I think this was more of a within our community, and everybody was just like, yeah, you know, they're poisoning us. We knew that. What's next? What did Trump do today? You know, and then it went on. So, you know, Cinema Writer says the same thing. Oh yeah, no, I'm just a little behind on comments. Lane detection improved 5 times, says Basic Flash Cube. So there you go. That it looks like this update was all about improving the understanding of where their lanes are. I think some people said also when they're going through intersections, a lot of times because, you know, the lane ends and then begins again. And even I noticed in my car, Autopilot 1, where it goes like, oh, where's my lane? I lost it, right? People said that improved as well. Let's see. 18Q and 1985 says, I was thinking more like Alfa Romeo, Fiat, Peugeot, Dodge, going bust and being replaced by new electric cars in China, California, and so forth. Yeah, I don't know what else I can add to that. I really just think that Tesla is going to try to be the next Mercedes-Benz or BMW, and they're going to stay in that market for sure. If I remember your original question correctly, Smooth Operator says, I will post my address and phone number so we meet up and place that wager. Your avoidance, you need to purchase the 5,000 Autopilot. Oh no, sorry, I just totally, did I just read part of one comment and then not the other one? Let me see. Oh, that's because somebody gave me a super chat and I just scroll all the way down. Clinton, thank you so much. You're saying 10 bucks. Thank you for contribution. He says, thank you for trying to stay fair about Tesla. Do you think it is a good idea for Tesla to unveil the Model Y this year? Do you think people have the patience to wait till 2030, LOL? Okay, I'm assuming 2030 is a joke. Thank you for Super Chat again. And thank you for everybody who contributes through Super Chats or Patreon. I really appreciate that, guys. Really helps me run the show. I mean, right now I'm upgrading some of my hardware. If you notice, sometimes this feed freezes and sometimes it's my hardware's fault, so I'm working on that. You know, I'm traveling tomorrow and on Tuesday to Monterey to an event, and I'm traveling to a lot of events, so my travel bills are piling up, and of course I like to continue updating my hardware and software. So thank you so much for the contribution, Clinton. So I think Tesla has no choice but to unveil Model Y, specifically because everyone's really already ahead of Tesla, right? I mean, Kona EV from Kia. Hyundai is unveiling, already unveiled their, did I say Kia Kona? No, Kia Niro EV, Hyundai Kona EV. Those are definitely going to be major competitors. They're already tightening up, you know, their competition with Jaguar and Porsche with Mission E, and with the Mission E new SUV that they're coming up. So I really think they have no choice. Now, unveiling, I think, is easy because you can really roll out the non-functional prototype and say, here's what it's going to look like, or roll out some even like pictures. I think that's still acceptable. And, you know, the year is still pretty young, right? I mean, we're what, 2.5 months in. So I think this is, yes, I think they have no choice but to do it, at least to get people excited, to start reservation lists, to start the hype and everything. And then I really hope they revert back to sort of modeling it after the Model 3 and building it on the Model 3 architecture. I know they want to change things around a little bit so the manufacturer improves, like, for example, maybe getting rid of the 12-volt battery, which I can't believe they still have it. But I really hope that they do, because otherwise they are in danger to get away from them. So and do the people have patience? You know what? It really doesn't matter, because I mean, they might not have patience now, but when it rolls out, like they can get Kia whatever right now, and then in 3 years get the Model Y. I mean, I don't think, you know, they're going to have a problem selling Model Y. I mean, and Elon is probably right. They are going to be the best selling Teslas once they're out. So I hope I answered that question that way, because yes, they're going to unveil Model Y this year. I just don't see how they wouldn't. It would be, what the hell's going on with the bet, guys? I'm catching up. There's something going in the comment section. Question: in order for Tesla Model 3 to have keep lane assist and auto braking for collision avoidance, you need to purchase the $5,000 Autopilot. I believe those are all part of the Autopilot. I you know, they have, you know, I haven't really looked. There are two different packages, but I think one is hardware. You know, help me out, those of you guys who have Model 3. I kind of forgot. I researched it and I forgot. But yeah, I think you do need to have that. It's just not going to come standard for sure. So yes. Chris B says, I don't have Tesla money or used Tesla car money. What would you recommend for a used electric car for my first? Well, I mean, this is all about the range, right? If you're okay with like 80, 90 mile range and maybe a compliance looking car, so I'm really limiting you here, that your best bet is buying the first generation Leaf from someone whose battery completely crapped out and it's just literally almost unusable Leaf. You can get those for $2,000, $3,000, and then going back to Nissan and having them replace the battery with a brand new one. So you're essentially getting a relatively new Nissan Leaf, because, you know, they powertrain is really not worn out that much, even after like 50 or 100,000 miles, because it's electric powertrain, and you have a brand new battery. So you essentially can get that car for, I think the battery is what, 4,000? So you can get that car for about 7 or 8,000. So if you really, really want it. Also depends where you live, because right now there's some deals that BMW is doing for their i3. Here in California, if you're a PG&E customer or Edison customer, because that's $20,000 right now. So let me know where you live, and I think we can maybe see what I can suggest. Okay, smooth operator. I will post my address and phone number so we meet up and place the wager. You claim about Toyota not being around by 2027 is a joke and makes you look like a fool. Great, guys. Now you're fighting in the chat room, and I just read it out loud. Guys, no fighting. We're all on the same page here generally. We're all friends. We're part of the same movement. So calm down a little bit. Let me see what is happening here. Wow, my comment says part $1,000 bet. Good luck, guys. So who's the bet between? I'm just trying to scroll and see. What are you guys doing? Cinema Rider, $1,000. Are you guys turning this channel into a casino? Watch out, Trump's gonna come over and put his name on this. Alex, what is the bigger charge I can put on my house with a 200 amp panel? Coral, I don't know. Like, I'm not a specialist on like solar panels and batteries and stuff like that. I don't even want to answer that because I don't know the right answer. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Home energy is not exactly my field of expertise. Okay, so smooth operator and cinema writer. You claim Toyota will not exist by 2027. Put your money worry about this. Okay, guys, please don't bet. 2027 is very far away, so it will be a while until you can collect your money, even if you do. So just cool down. EV Man Vegas, VS Gas. Oh, EV Man versus gas. Okay, that's you. Okay, welcome, by the way. I've never seen you post here. And now Volkswagen is pretending diesel is the future. Why can't they just move on? You know, that story already pissed me off last week, so I'm not really sure if I want to get my blood pressure up again, but that's true of Volkswagen. As they are rolling out all this, you know, concept cars and prototypes and stuff like that, the Volkswagen Vision, whatever you want to call it, the Porsche Mission E, the hell is that long name that I really hate, the SUV version, and the Audi e-tron. They're rolling out all these good cars, and at the same time their CEO said how, you know, diesel got a bad rap, and once people find out how clean it is, they would really fall in love with it again, even though it's a Volkswagen who basically proved that diesel is not clean, and even with cheating is not clean. And yet he's on it. I think he should be fired as a Volkswagen CEO just for those concepts, because he completely does not understand what the hell is going on in the world of cars at this point. I was going to say electric cars, but just in the world of cars. Let me catch up with some of the comments. Cinema Writer says in Europe, get an old Renault Zoe and the same condition. They get the battery upgrade to 40 kilowatt hour. Who was asking this originally? I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out if you ever gave me the answer, what kind of car you had. Cinema Writer says, Alex, read my Zoe comment. I just did. Alex, you'll never buy an Audi e-tron, asks Smooth Operator. To be honest with you, for now, I'm not going to buy a Volkswagen car or a Volkswagen Auto Group owned car until they do something about the stupidity, the cheating, the animal testing and stuff like that. One. Two, I think if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I'm going to spend it on a Model X, which is a better car with Supercharger network. Randy in the chat room says, so my first Model 3 in the wild Friday in Portland, Oregon area. Congratulations. e-tron looks very uninspired. Basic Flash Cube says, well, I think it looks like any other Audi. And, you know, we guys, so let's back up. We've always complained, I've always complained, and, you know, all these electric cars look like compliance cars. They look like frogs that look pretty fugly. You know, BMW i3. Toyota Prius, I'm going to jump, let's throw them into that mix. Obviously, what am I missing? Nissan Leaf. And I know I'm missing one more, but, and I was like, don't make them. They're ugly. You're almost asking people not to buy them. Now that everyone's actually serious about making electric cars and they're producing them and they look like the actual normal cars, now we're complaining that they look uninspiring. Well, they're supposed to look uninspiring. They're supposed to say, hey, see this car? Looks exactly like the one you have or your neighbor has, except for the inside, it's completely different and better. I think that's a better step, because if you're gonna start throwing like really futuristic looks, don't forget, these are expensive cars and it's for older folks and they don't like change. They don't like those futuristic looks. Jaguar, I think, was very much correct where they sacrificed their range because of the drag coefficient being very high by keeping the grille on. Because that's what Jaguar drivers want. They love that grille, and I think they were right to keep it and sacrifice the range, because that's the way to keep your older, demographics, which is your customers. I'm okay with the uninspiring electric cars right now. Let them just get in through the door. Let them convince a few more hearts, and then we can start looking futuristic and stuff. Alex wants an I-Pace, Cinema Rider says. I do. I really do want an I-Pace. I think they're priced a little high, but if the dealers will negotiate and with the incentives and stuff like that, then I don't have to worry about. I think I'm definitely going to be in the market. I'm definitely going to be in the market for sure. I'm thinking about moving, I have to say. I live in the Bay Area right now, but I'm thinking about moving to Sacramento. It's not a big deal because it's like an hour and a half away. And I will probably have to come back to the Bay Area regularly. So I'm not really sure if I-Pace would be the right car for that. Though I will probably just have a commuter car between, to go back and forth. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm really, really liking the I-Pace. Audi has taken 10 years to get it to where it is, to get it to where it is, says Cinema Rider. Better late than never, because we have some companies like Ford and Toyota who are not getting it just yet, which does bring me to another story that I haven't covered. And I'm going to try to go through some of these stories really quick, guys, and maybe not read every single comment, but where am I going with? Oh, yeah, so because of Ford, and I'm going to find that story in just one second. Well, let's just start with GM, right? So GM just invested $100 million into this Cruise AV, as they call it. Now, I don't like this this ugly top that's on top of the car, but this is from their press release, so I'm assuming they're actually going to have that as a final product. Hopefully not. But, the Cruise AV is a car that they've kind of teased with this video right here, where there's no wheel. There's no driving wheel. They're saying this car is going to have autonomous driving level 4 and 5. So why bother with the wheel thing? I think just by law, they won't be able to get away with it. And they might have like a wheel that maybe kind of... you could put it up and then could it maybe it kind of retracts back into the dashboard or something like that. But they've invested $100 million to actually take it into production. They're not going to be selling it to you and me, so don't get too excited. But they are going to be selling it to themselves because they're creating a ride-sharing service, and this is what they're going to use for themselves. And that's why it's exciting. 100 million. No. Did I say 100 million? Yeah, 100 million. That's pretty decent investment. So looking forward to that. Good for them. And another investment that was made this news cycle this week. I'm still looking for, I don't know why I'm having trouble finding that story. Oh yeah. So Nissan also has invested in almost 10 billion. So 9.3 million Nissan invested in China because they really want to become a major player in China, because as you know, the two manufacturers that are kind of rule China right now in electric cars are BYD and Bike. They are basically making the most electric cars in the world, even though they're just selling it in China, in the world, they're not amazing electric cars like Tesla cars, but they are electric cars that are being sold. And so Nissan wants to compete with that. As you know, in China, you can't just come in and compete. You have to create a partnership with a Chinese government-based corporation. In this case, it's Dongfeng Group, and they're already working with them. It's one of kind of a known manufacturers there that partner up with other firms from outside, from Europe and America. And they're gonna start producing Nissan Leafs and other electric cars moving forward, because they really want to make a statement in China. So they've invested, you know, a significant amount. So that's another good news story that I thought was pretty cool. I'm looking for the one from Ford, and somehow I'm not finding it in my stack. Let me look for one more time, because I know Ford has also invested significant amount of money. While I'm looking for that, maybe you guys can give this video a thumbs up if you're not doing anything particularly. Always helps this video do well. Yeah, so Ford has finally announced that they're going to come up with this 2020. By 2020, they're going to come up with an electric SUV. They put up this picture. We don't really know if that's the one that they're thinking about, because there were other announcements in the same price release with regular gas cars and hybrids, but that's the picture that we got. They are hoping to take it in production 2020. I think they managed to somehow talk crap about Tesla at the same time. There are no real specs whatsoever. And on top of that is, you know, Ford is going through a bit of a problem right now, because apparently steering wheels are falling off, and at least they're kind of, you know, they're kind of in some cases, some get some bolts or nuts or whatever get loose, and the steering wheel starts to get like rocky, if you will. And in some cases, you can literally get driving, all of a sudden your steering wheel is in your hands. I'm not really sure how it works, but they end up recalling like over a million cars. So if I was Ford, I would just keep up to, you know, and recently also, don't forget, they had a scandal where, not scandal, but a recall where the doors were coming off. So they're literally like, the wheels are falling off of the car, and they're trying to talk crap about Tesla being so behind. It's kind of funny. But listen, if they want to get in, I'll welcome them with open arms, but, you know, just get there already. And one thing I do have to give Ford credit for is that, you know, they are one of the investors in the Ionity fast charging network. I told you guys about this all the time. In Europe, there will be an alternative to superchargers in the next couple of years. And there are a few different networks that are being built, and most of them are being invested into by existing manufacturers, because they're realizing, hey, what about competing with superchargers? So let's create a separate sort of entity and have them take care of that. This one, I believe, is invested by Ford, Volkswagen Group, I think BMW, Mercedes, but they are definitely, and this is what this is one of their latest renderings, so you can kind of figure out what it's going to look like if you build it in the desert. That's what the background looks like. But definitely, obviously, the very modern look, very slick look, and they're going to they say up to 350 kilowatt charging. Right now they're going to start, I think, with 150 or just 100, and then kind of ramp it up. So Ford has invested into that, and kudos to them for that as well. Oh yeah, so we maybe I forgot to show these pictures from Kyle. This is the Tesla truck charging at the superchargers while it was going to St. Louis. And somebody early in the chat room asked how they're supercharging. We don't know, but the Kyle did say that from what he saw, there were two cables coming out of the charging port. They were going into, I think they were in inverter boxes, he said. And then out of that, it was going into two different stalls that were separate from each other with at least one stall. So obviously, I think they wanted to draw that from two different sources. So that's kind of that's a hearsay, but that's what he said. That little cute car is apparently his. And I forget what it's called. It's called something like Think EV or whatever. I guess it was discontinued, but I guess he just put it in a picture. But at first I was like, oh, and then this is a picture from Dan Mueller, who posted it on, I think, on Instagram, and this is a truck actually at the Anheuser-Busch a facility. Yeah, so about the car, right? I thought, well, wait a second, is it really supercharging? Like, what's going on? But I think this is just cable hanging down because really, as you can see now, the car is just being, you know, he just parked in there because it's because he just wanted to have his car pose with a semi truck. All right, so let me catch up with some of the comments. I know I'm a little behind, and I have to skip some of them. Unable to change lease battery on Zoe or upgrade to 41 kilowatt. Upgrade not possible at this time, says Nigel. Yeah, I think they're so Renault Zoe, they're just going away from the whole leasing thing, at least in France. I love that concept, so I'm all for it. I know NIO in China is doing that, and I think they're going to be very successful. Let's see. Tesla looks just fine without a grill. Yeah, but you know, it says basic flash cube. Yeah, no, I agree. The Tesla looks great, but if you already have a following, you don't want to abandon it, right? If Jaguar's following guys over the age of 50 who love grills, well, you don't abandon your entire base, right? You build a car with a grill, you know, and then maybe a little bit you smooth it out, you make it smaller, and boom, gone. Nigel asks, is it still $3,500 in Sacramento to live? If it's after tax, oh hell yeah. Yeah, you can, I mean, it depends. Like if you have a family, it's going to be a little tough. But like, for example, I'll give you an example. So I have a 3-bedroom house, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. Not a big house, but you know, decent house, decent neighborhood. And I rent it out for $1,400, right? And a family lives there. So that's rent. And then, you know, everything's cheaper. Like even when I go to Home Depot, when I was remodeling my house, when I bought it last year, when I went to Home Depot here to shop for something, I always would actually go to Sacramento to actually buy it because it would be like 10 or 20% cheaper. And this is the same Home Depot, same items, right? Food there is pretty cheap as well. I mean, cheaper. So yeah, but I mean, you know, I'm thinking about it. If I'm gonna move in July, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated. Especially those who are on Patreon will probably get a bunch of cool stories. That gives me an excuse to show you guys this slide once again. And thank everybody who is subscribing there. I'm gonna move on to another story. So I'm going to, and also while I'm looking for that, please give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Oh yeah, so Roadster was also the Gigafactory. I don't know if I mentioned that. So they're taking Tesla semi-trucks on tour, but now with kind of purpose. Now it's with customers and everything. But the Roadster is kind of making more of a aesthetic tour. And this picture was taken by Stephen Roth, I guess one of the employees in a lobby or in some sort of lobby of the Gigafactory in Nevada. Another story. Well, before I go to Schwarzenegger's story, let me read a few. Tony says, just saw my first Model 3, black on black. Love black on black. In Maple Grove, which is a suburb of Minneapolis. Not a whole lot of Teslas out this way. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I know. The first time you see Model 3, it's like, you know, it's like a big event, I think. I remember I pointed it out to somebody who has never seen it before the first time. I was like, oh, guys, congratulations. It's your first, you know, Model 3 sighting. How exciting. I think I was more excited than them, though. All right, let me keep my throat going. We're at about 1 hour and 40 minutes right now. And I got to catch up on the stories, guys. Ford, 25 billion have triple X cars out by guess when. Nigel, I don't quite get the comment, but that could be just my brain going. I have an inside story on Audi. It says Audi e-tron, but there's not enough room here to explain. It says Cinema Writer. Email me. I'll feature it if it's true. Alex at e4electric.com or anywhere in the social media under E4Electric, whether Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Or here on YouTube too, you can send me a message. Previous Ford owner, so very disappointed, says Nigel. Both daughters drive Fords. Oh yes, they're diesel, still have their doors and steering wheels. That's good. That's good news. A stop start failed to focus, $500 to fix. Sorry to hear that, man. I don't get the joke. Are you talking to Ford? Asks Cinema. Ryder. Me or Nigel? Anyway. The semi was then take a 240 kilowatt charge, taking 2400 kilowatt charge. I guess so. Again, we will never know. This is something like I haven't even seen a picture of that. This is just somebody told me, the witness told me, and I'm just kind of passing it as hearsay for now. If you have two inverters, you could connect to two superchargers. There you go. That's what Nigel says. So it does make sense. Cinema Writer says, I'm talking on older cars, unlike Leaf, people have upgraded on Zoe. Okay, US states like different. Okay, guys, you are not even speaking full sentences. But I'm assuming you're talking to each other. Ryan Store Cowboy says, I'm excited if I see any kind of Tesla. There's just none around here. Fair enough. I remember those days. When I go to Santa Cruz, which I think I'm going to go like after the stream, there are a lot of tourists because Santa Cruz is a beach town. About 45 minutes away from me. I'm at San Jose, so it's about an hour, maybe and a half from San Francisco. It's a beach town where a lot of tourists come, right? When you come to California's Santa Cruz Beach boardwalk. So when I park my car there, I see some tourists gathering around who have never seen the car, even now. So that's quite a treat. It reminds me back of 2012 when I got mine, and every time I come back from a store, be grocery shopping, and then I come back, there will be like a crowd gathered around my car because I only had I was one of the first 3,000 first Tesla owners for the Model S. So that was still kind of really, really exciting but weird, and you felt like your car is a celebrity and you're like their bodyguard or something. Silver GT says the 35,000 Model 3 will still have all glass roof, but material will cover it. Okay, so I don't see. The thing is, I don't know what's gonna happen with a solid roof. I like solid roofs. I would prefer that. My car, the main ones that I drive, it has a solid roof. My girlfriend's car has a glass roof, but mine has solid roofs. I don't think they're selling solid roofs right now at all, right? Yeah, so I'm not really sure what would be the standard, solid or not. I think it depends on how they're installing it with the windshield. It may just be more expensive to kind of break it into two almost. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry. Nigel says leasing of Zoe battery will still main sales. Just leasing my battery did not allow upgrade after initial 3 years. Oh, I see what you mean. You guys, I love the concept of leasing the battery, battery being like being able to be swapped. I really think Tesla might regret going with a Model 3 that has no capability of swapping the battery. SpaceX fan, Ford is a joke. Last year they recalled their cop cars because the exhaust was entering the cab, poisoning cops. LOL. Wow, I did not know that. That is a major fail. I went and saw the Model 3 in person, says Silver GT. It was great. Awesome. What was your favorite feature? Let us know. I'm dying to see Model 3, says a SpaceX fan. Let's see. Even at car shows in the area, never seen PH. Well, I don't know how to pronounce PHEV. Basically, plug-in hybrid, let alone a Tesla. Wow. Rhinestone Cowboy, tell us where you live. Remind me. I know you told me probably 1,000 times, but remind me. My memory, by the way, guys, I'm sorry if sometimes I don't remember stuff. My memory is literally of like a 5-month-old kitten. It is ridiculous. Sometimes I forget things that happened to me an hour ago. Sometimes I forget things that happened a year ago, like major things. I have friends tell me stories about me like a year ago, and I listen with my breath held. I was like, oh wow, really, that happened? I have no idea why. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do anything that would be damaging. I mean, I know it's probably like, my life has been mainly, I had a lot of stress because I usually get a lot of things going on and it's hard to make memories, but it's been kind of weird. I don't know if any of you seen a movie called Memento. Amazing movie, by the way. If you haven't ever seen it, it is a bit violent, I have to say, but it's not about the story. It's so I'll tell you the concept, right? It's a movie about a guy who loses his memory, every like 10 minutes, and he has to live his life. But the genius of the movie is that the movie makes you as a viewer lose your memory every 10 minutes. So you watch that movie pretty much in character. Of course, you can only watch it once, and I'll tell you how it's done. It's a trick where, because like, how do you make my memory me lose the memory, right? Because the plot doesn't really matter, they show the movie in a 10-minute increments from the end. So the first scene that you see is the end of the movie. And then you kind of see what leads up to it, and they show you every time in 10 minutes. So like one scene, he's just running all of a sudden, right? He's like, oh my God, am I like he just lost his memory chunk, right? He's like, oh, am I running after somebody? Am I running from somebody? Great movie. I feel like I'm in Memento sometimes, is my point. So please don't get offended when, okay, Western Pennsylvania, that's where Roundstone Cowboy is. Wow, so wow. Yeah, see, this is exactly what I'm saying, guys. I mean, this is the United States, just if you don't know. Even in the United States, we still have areas where people don't know anything about electric cars or plug-in hybrids, and definitely not Tesla. There's plenty of revolution, plenty of room for the revolution to spread. So that's very interesting. That is amazing. I'd love to visit them. I'd love to visit one of my Tesla. I want one with a glass roof. SpaceX fan. Yeah, most people do. I know I'm a minority. I just don't like that I don't control the light inside of my car because of the sun. You know, sometimes there's a little glare. Sometimes I want it a little bit darker anyway. So I like when I control the light. Memento is good, says Johnny B, right? I love it. It's one of my most favorite movies. Again, not because of the stupidly violent plot, but it's because of how it's made, and you can only watch it once. Spoilers? No. It's not a spoiler. This is not a spoiler. It's you will yeah. That's not a spoiler. As a matter of fact, I think I helped you to enjoy the movie more, because if you don't know that, you're gonna get confused. You're gonna get confused by the first few scenes, and you won't be able to enjoy it. And again, this is not a spoiler that you can. This movie cannot have a spoiler because the plot does not matter. I didn't tell you what the plot is, but it doesn't matter. I think somebody shoots his wife and him, and he survives, and that's how he has this condition of losing his memory, and he's just trying to hunt down his wife's killer. Very simple plot. But like, you know, he lives in a hotel or motel or whatever, and then you know, how people try to take advantage of him, you know, paying for it. And then every day, like, what happens? How do you know what the hell's going on with you, right? He has to wake up and tell himself what his condition is, because he doesn't remember. It's an amazing movie. Poya says, hello, thanks for a great show. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me. Do you know what the current weekly production rate of Model 3 is? Nobody does. It's believed to be anywhere from 500 to 1,000. And I know that's a pretty big gap, but that's what it's believed to be. My girlfriend says, I think there's a difference between a sunroof and a glass roof. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. So I think let me revert it. If I said sunroof, I meant a glass roof. I don't think there's really sunroofs at Teslas. Really, it's all glass roof. I call it sunroof, so just bear with me on that one. First thing my girlfriend says after what, almost 2 hours of the stream, and she's correcting me. All right, keeping me honest. The best part of bad memory is all of the new people you get to meet, says Johnny B. Well, that's why I friend people on Facebook, so I remember who they are and their names. But I mean, you know, my girlfriend can chime in and let you guys know how bad it is, but it's definitely. So on another hand, I have to say, it's kind of also a benefit because you don't remember little things that are petty, right? And you, like, for example, like I might have a fight with somebody and not talk to that person like for a year, and then see that person again. I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? How are you? I haven't heard from you in a while. And they'll be like, oh, dude, what the hell? I don't know when we're talking. I'll be like, oh, I don't remember that. So I do get a lot of friends back that way. Joey Verville, haven't seen you post here, I don't think, in a while at least, or if not for the first time. Welcome. He says, he says, I live 150 miles from the nearest Tesla service center. Do you think getting a Model 3 would be a bad idea because of that? Well, it's not like you have to be there every day, but from what I understand, I know for sure they're really big on mobile service. So a lot of times they'll come to you if you don't, if it's, they can diagnose your car remotely most of the time, and then send out a service truck to service your car. So you don't have to you don't even have to be there. You can unlock your car, they fix it, and boom. Last time it happened to me, I didn't even leave my office. So that was pretty cool. I would call their service center, ask them if they do mobile service, and then ask them what happens if you do need service. Sometimes they will send out a loaner to you, so they'll come over, pick up your car, leave you with a loaner, and then do the switcherooning again once they're done. I know it's used to be that way for sure. In the remote areas, that might still be the case. So I would call them and ask. Hey bro, says Tony, I hear ginseng helps with the memory, but I'm sure Lachelle is great backup. LOL. I don't know what ginseng is, actually. Model Y in Europe by 2021, asks Stefan. I don't know. Don't know if it's going to be here in the United States by 2021, to be honest with you, but we'll see. Let me catch up on a couple of other stories because there were a few interesting ones coming out. So we've seen a lot of cars lately been tested on the snow, and not they're being, obviously they're being tested all over the place. We've seen Jaguar, but they want to make sure that they take a picture and a video and publish it. I'm assuming these are for people who live in, northern parts of the world where the snow is and cold weather is common, and people are concerned about battery degradation or battery performance, and so they want to make sure that they are testing their cars in those conditions. We've seen Jaguar, we've seen Mercedes-Benz testing their EQA, I think. Yeah, EQA, just the other day, and now it's Faraday Future. As you know, they came out with a video that they are now going to be testing 10. They have 10 prototypes. They're going to be testing them because they're really going to be gearing out for the production, which does seem like it's going to be happening. And also, guess who is going to be Kona EV from Hyundai? They were also testing it. They were also testing it with the Hyundai Nexo, which is their new hydrogen fuel cell that they've unveiled at the CES. I have a report about that. You can search my channel for that report. So a lot of progress, and they're really testing it for real. Mercedes-Benz, this is a bit of a boring story, but it's kind of exciting because Mercedes-Benz is investing in, I believe, their battery production in Thailand, and this is the reason I like bringing you guys this investment stories, because that means that every time they throw their money at something, that means they're more and more and more serious about it. So this is a quick but good story, and I can't believe we haven't talked about this story because Arnold Schwarzenegger is saying that he's going to file a lawsuit against Big Oil for basically like first-degree murder because they're killing people all over the place. I love the concept. I don't know if it's actually going to go all the way to him getting anything out of it, but I think the publicity is really good. I think people really need to understand that these companies are damaging our health, just like back in the day, tobacco companies were held responsible, and it raised the awareness of lung cancer and so forth. A lot of people quit smoking. A lot more people did not take up the smoking, especially here in the United States. We got a lot of laws passed where you can't just walk in and start smoking at the restaurant or whatever against the will of everybody else because you're endangering their health. So a lot of good things came out of that. So I'm actually pretty excited that that he's doing it. So that was a pretty cool story that I liked. My girlfriend says I have a sunroof, not a glass roof. Yeah. It opens, by the way. I'm definitely not trying to bust your chops, just trying to keep you accurate. That's all. Winky face, she says. I don't know. I guess it's kind of in between. I'm just trying to think back because it's like half of the roof slides back, right? And she's got a regular 60 Model S, guys, with a glass roof for sure. But I don't know. To me, a sunroof has always been just a little hole in there, and this is like half of the roof actually moves. So okay, I don't know. We'll leave it up to the dictionary or whatever, but I'll look it up. Caesar says ginseng, a Korean and also American root, isn't usually used for memory. Ginkgo is. Okay, now I'm being offered all kinds of drugs here. I don't know which one to believe. He says, I started on ginkgo high school because of a bad memory, but 25 years later, I have no clue if it ever worked. Well, at least you remember that you started it back in high school. Has it stopped raining in California, says Nigel? It has not. As a matter of fact, let me check my phone because I'm going to go to Santa Cruz after this, and I'm gonna see if I'm gonna have to take an umbrella, because obviously I'm not gonna be at the beach. Probably gonna be at the coffee shop overseeing the beach. So let me check on that, because it's been it's not only been like rainy, because it wasn't like pouring rain, but it's just cold and kind of nasty, and you kind of want to stay indoors, which I guess is a good thing, you know. But let me look at the weather. It's taking me a while. I don't know why. Yeah, so today is actually, it says cloudy, though I think it's raining a little bit. Tomorrow it's going to be sunny, which is good, but the rest of the week is going to be rainy. Definitely, yeah. Let's see. So no, it has not stopped yet, but we're getting there. We'll pay our sunshine bill very quickly, and hopefully it will be restored. SpaceX fan says, Alex, did you hear about the guy with an axe attacking a guy in a Tesla, ranting about how much he hates Tesla? You know, I have. I mean, I haven't covered this story because it's kind of like, okay, so there are crazy people out there, and this was like a one incident. It's not like I hear about a lot of Tesla hate. So I know it happened, but you don't even know if the guy hated Tesla, right? I don't know if he has like a I hate Tesla Facebook group or anything like that. He just, I think it was almost in the spare of a moment where he saw it and maybe it triggered something in his brain. I just said there's nothing more around the story except for, hey, there's a crazy guy who said the word Tesla as he was, you know, going on his rampage. So that's why I didn't really cover it, but I have heard of it. I hope it doesn't happen again or to any of us. By the way, I did miss one story. It's a Volkswagen actually stepping up. And again, this is why I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with Volkswagen. I wouldn't buy Volkswagen myself for now until they correct their behavior, at least admit to a fact that there's a problem and they're diesel addicts. Join some sort of a diesel AA group or something like that. I'll be more than happy to, you know, create one for them. But they've invested $25 million in a battery supply chain, and they're trying to secure contracts for batteries and factories and so forth. So that's a major. I mean, it's 25 billion. I mean, this is major commitment to it. So and here it's a Volkswagen Vision or Vision, however you want to call it. I personally like that car. It doesn't have a wheel, which I'm going to assume they're going to put it right in there because of the regulations, but they're definitely, you know, taking it seriously. I mean, think about all the Volkswagen Group electric cars that they're moving forward with and investments. I love that. But again, their CEO, diesel crack addict, and you know, obviously with their history, I just don't know. I'm back and forth. We'll see what happens. But I love the way this car looks, by the way. Really, really do. Let's see. What's the sun? Asks Nigel. I live in Ireland. You know, you might want to look into it. It's a little overrated because it's getting really hot. You have to turn air conditioning on. You use a lot of coal-powered energy. You know, get to check up for skin cancer. It's you know, it's got its problem, but it's nice. It's nice. Come and visit. Come and visit, please. If you can block the glass, it's a sunroof. If you can't, it's a glass roof. Says Rhinestone Cowboy. If you can block the glass. What do you mean by block? Oh, guy with an X hated David Bowie, says Nigel. See, there you go. It might have not been about Tesla after all. Rhinestone Cowboy says, I think Volkswagen would do better if they would change that name. Volkswagen doesn't seem to imply quality to me at all. I know. I mean, I don't think they're going to do it because a rebranding is a bitch, you know? So I think they're going to start with that. I think VW is probably a better way to pronounce it or whatever, or easier to write for sure. Love that the Volkswagen concept. Will I buy it in 2020? Maybe, says Nigel. I will not for now. Again, they're going to have to convince me that they are not as bad as they've been in the past. Another story really quick. You remember how Tesla was trying to obviously compete in China because, you know, it's 25% tariff there, and it's hard to compete with their local companies that are already kind of making cheap cars with all the incentives. Well, you can't just get into China and start making cars that I mentioned many times. You have to partner up with a Chinese-based company, and you can't own more than 50% of it, so you have to share your trade secrets sometimes your patents and so forth. So nobody wants to do it. It looked like Tesla was striking a deal with Chinese government where they were going to have a solely owned factory there, and then it kind of fell apart, And they announced that the Chinese government was kind of putting brakes on that with pressure under other manufacturers. But now it looks like they're back on discussing, I guess it's kind of a trade-free zone or whatever they're calling it, where maybe Tesla will have their factory after all. So I thought that was kind of promising. As you know, Elon tweeted last week encouraging Donald Trump, who is our president still, to figure out the tariff situation, because and I'm with Elon there. It's 25% tariff when you import cars from here or Europe to China, and it's 2.5%, yes, 10 times less when you import cars from China to here, or if you want to do business here. And he said there are 5 companies that are doing that right now, like Lucid Air, Faraday Future, and so forth. So he's just saying it's unfair. And I think it's like running an Olympics marathon with the lead shoes on. So that was a funny example. BMW is actually stepping up also. Oh no, that was last week, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you this video anyway of BMW i4 that they're trying to take all. No date announced, but 2025 for sure. But that's a little, Let's see. Sliding panel would be a better name, says Ryan. I think you guys are still talking about my girlfriend's cars. Sunroof or glass roof. Oh, that was a Tesla joke, says Nigel. David Bowie played him in the Magic movie. Okay. All right. Now I get it. Okay. Is it me or has anybody noticed that boring holes in California, beware earthquake zone? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they're aware of that as far as like drilling the boring tunnel. But I'm gonna bring up the slide of the next story I'm gonna talk to you guys about next, and we're almost out of stories, but a lot of how many? Yeah, I think we're almost out of stories. This could be one of the last ones I talk about. Well, then before I do that, I'm gonna remind you once again about a couple of things. First, thank you for those who contribute to Patreon, where I have exclusive videos, behind the scene footage, pictures, and stuff like that. Kind of a lot of stuff is like a little bit personal life stuff that I do. And of course, please give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. And this video is sponsored by Evanex, our awesome sponsor. Thank you to them. Oh, there's another story that I'm gonna cover. So there's 2 cool stories that I still have left. So let's cover them, and I think I just lost one of them. Crap. Oh yeah, here it is. All right, so we'll talk about this one in a second. Tony says, to me, Volkswagen seems to be lost. They're not sure which direction they want to go. I agree, and putting so much energy into fooling the system just doesn't win and goodwill for me. I'll pass. I agree with you, Tony. I mean, it does seem like they're struggling with their identity, if you will, moving forward, and I really hate their Dieselgate, and of course the whole testing on animals thing. Obviously, as a animal lover and animal rights supporter, that was a big one for me. They bore circle holes, which is the strongest shape, unlike square buildings, and would have reinforced concrete, so worst case you'd get shakes, but if they are on rails, won't crash. Well, we don't know how those boring tunnels are really going to act, right? Because I mean, when there are 2 panels, I guess, of Earth are going, back and forth and kind of sliding between each other, and there's a tunnel goes across it, that will probably break, right? And I mean, everything will be broken if we have a really strong earthquake. I mean, I'm sure everyone's doing their best to not that happen, and I'm sure that they're doing it with that in mind, but who knows? We don't know when, and we don't know how strong. Anyway, so Audi e-tron, as you know, they're rolling out Audi e-tron this year. That's going to be an SUV with 275 or so mile range, so everyone's excited about, because I mean, it is going to be a good car. Obviously, I think the pricing is a little too high, but it's going to be a good SUV, all electric. So this is the video, but they also almost immediately said that they are going to be rolling out Model S competitor, which they kind of released a teaser for, which I literally had on the screen a second ago, but they're going to move forward with that. And I think, I mean, it's a good looking one. Actually, just from this shadowy picture, I like it. We'll see what the specs are going to be. So I obviously, you know, they want, and this is Volkswagen, you know, owned company. So kudos to them. And here's another one. Nissan confirms that this cool concept car, by the way, this is my picture I took with my phone. Looks pretty cool, actually. But this IMX concept that I saw at CES is actually going to, they're going to move forward with this. And I have a video that, see, this is me. If you want to see the video that I did about the concept car, and you'll see better shots of it there. I did it in January, and the video is available on my channel. Just search for it. But at that time, they were claiming, you know, this is just a concept. It's just what the future hold for Nissan. We're not looking at production and stuff like that. But this week, they're confirming that this, they're going to base their, they're calling it Leaf SUV. They're going to base it on this cool concept car. And I hope it looks as close as possible. Some people don't like it. I love it. I love the way it looks. I hope it's as close as possible to that. Maybe minus the grille, right? So I love the way it looks. And they say they're going to move forward with it. And I believe them. Obviously, Nissan is not going to, you know, beat around the bush. They're probably going to move forward with it relatively quickly. And I absolutely love it. It's again, any new car in the market is always welcome, but these guys have the technology. Hopefully by then they will figure out the thermal management system, which looks like they have already. They're calling it Leaf SUV. Maybe the name will change, but I'm excited about that. So yeah, that's one of the stories that also came out. So as you can see, Tesla really started a big thing. And, you know, I'm not really surprised that all these cars are coming out and announcements and prototypes and so forth. And if you're going in production this year, I knew that this year was going to be big. Model 3 alone was going to make this year huge, but all of these companies are finally catching up with their technology and investing money and talent and manufacturing and so forth. Are definitely now to really starting to move. We just need the charging network to catch up, right? Looks pretty good to me, says Tony. I know. Nigel says, I think Audis all look the same. Yeah, I know. That's why I never bought one, because I never know, is it an A3 or an A8? They all look very similar to me for decades, I think. Nigel says, do you think that the SUV Nissan looks like the Toyota hydrogen car at the front? A little bit. I mean, they're all supposed to kind of look the same, and all of their concepts are supposed to look the same, but I guess I see a little bit, but I also see some of the already existing lines and the way they do the lights, sort of like a boomerang shaped almost, on their existing SUV and our existing cars, Lexus cars. Yeah, so no, Lexus. It reminds me of Lexus, sorry. It reminds me of Lexus rather than Nissan or Infiniti. Car looks nice, says physics, just super high, even for an SUV. Pimp it. Yeah, I'm sure they'll figure it out. I think it was super high because those wheels were ridiculously huge. I think like 24th. I love the Nissan concept, says Chris B. So yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward what Nissan's going to bring to us. I mean, it feels like they're turning around after turning around on their original Nissan Leaf. Hopefully they really gonna get this going. So guys, let me remind you about something. So next week, so tomorrow I'm still gonna do my the show at 11 a.m. Well, actually, there's no change for timing, but on Tuesday I will be at this event for journalists, where we meet with like PR people, and it's going to be a pretty cool event where we're going to get to drive some of the newer cars on a racetrack, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be in Monterey, California. I'll be there, go and be there tomorrow evening, but on Tuesday I'll spend the entire day there. So at 11 a.m., unless I'm stuck in traffic, and even if I'm stuck in traffic, I'm going to do a live feed from there at 11 a.m. So it's going to be using my cell phone. So we're going to have a kind of a different type of a hangout. And then on Wednesday, I will catch up with all of the news unless there's something major going on. So that's just kind of a reminder. So I think we're past to our mark. I still have my voice though, guys. Thanks to this chemically infused hot tea. I'm sure you guys have a lot of exciting plans for the rest of the day. I do. I'm going to go to Santa Cruz and read a book. Sleep in my car. I love sleeping in a car when it's raining, right? I'm going to do that. I'm going to meditate. So I hope you do something fun for the rest of the day. I'm gonna sign off. I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's been fun. Once again, so many interesting things going on, and we'll have another exciting guest next week. Other than that, see you tomorrow, and remember to stay charged.